So have you ever been fishing when you were a kid or fish now? Hi, it's Bill. This is Creative License, and thanks again for being a part of today's Little Dog and Pony Show. Your sponsors, of course, Electro Voice, DJ Event Planner, Disc Jockey News, Promo Only, Perfect Portals, and of course the Entertainment Experience, your favorite workshop for DJ event entertainers. Anyway, it's my workshop. You want to know more about it, just go to entertainment-experience.com. So, fishing. It's a great analogy for business and for what we're trying to create as entertainers, because one thing in fishing that you realize or you learn early on is that you can catch a lot of stuff. It's not really that hard. Once you put your line in the water, you're going to catch things. But knowing what to keep and knowing what to throw back is really important. And the only way to know that is to know kind of what you're looking for. In other words, if you're out to do a lot of work and you want to do every little thing that comes your way, it's not that difficult, because it's just stuff will show up, and as far as you're willing to do it for whatever they want to pay you, you can work a lot. You can get a lot of fish. You have to have a pretty big boat, but when it comes to the time we have to be able to use our services, your boat's only so big. So then I have those people that do that look at me and say, but I want to make more money. You know, I'm not making that much. I'm working my tail off. I'm actually getting kind of burned out. What am I supposed to do? Well, it's simpler than you think. First of all, you want to price yourself to a place where you feel good about being worked a lot, if you're going to get worked a lot, and begin to throw back all the tiny fish. Okay, I can work a bar. Sometimes I can get bar gigs twice a night. Okay, but at least 7 days a week I can work bar gigs and high school dances, and it's not that hard. They're willing to give it to you for whatever they want to pay you, and trust me, that's not very much. So you can take that, and you're going to do okay for a while. You're going to have plenty of money, or at least what you think is plenty of money. But at some point, you're going to start like, I'm working all the time, and they're not paying me more. They don't see my talent. Whatever that is. Okay. The only way to make room in your boat for the bigger events is to throw back the smaller ones. So you got to think like a fisherman. If you're working 7 days a week on the small stuff, how much time do you have to be able to attract the big stuff, if in fact you want the big stuff, okay? And wouldn't it be nice if in one night you can make as much as 7 nights? That way, during the week, you can work on fishing for the big fish, throwing back small ones, making lots of room in your life and your time to be able to take on being a person who does and works with only the big fish. It is not something that's going to happen as long as you hold on to the small ones. Because, believe it or not, you could get a big one and start throwing back small ones, but then you start worrying about throwing back the small ones. Because if I throw out the small ones for the big ones, will the small ones come back? This is a person who's not planned. This is the person who's not decided that I want this for my life. I want to work for this many days a year. I want to make this much money before I go out. I want big fish so I can take that money and spend it on my free time. I don't know about you, but I got into a really fun job that I love so I can have more free time to do the things that I love that are not necessarily work. And trust me, our work is fun. But after a while, your work stops being fun or not as fun as being able to spend your time with your family, or going out on your boat, or taking a bike ride, or going for a hike, or going to the bars because you want to go to a bar and not necessarily work at it. So how do you get there? First thing you got to do is decide what you will and will not work for. You're going to have to figure out how much work you want to do, if in fact anything is possible, how much you want to get paid for it, and then start getting rid of the small fish, because as long as you're working on the small fish, you got no time for the big ones. What do you think of this? Leave your comments below. Tell me what you think. I'm Bill. This is Creative License, and I will see you next week.